Hey everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to manage weeds in your garden without spraying. But just a moment before we talk about how to manage weeds, let's zoom out and think together. Do we actually need to manage weeds in our garden at all? Today I'm going to suggest a conceptual shift that will make you see the weeds in your garden as friends and not enemies. I'm going to show you how to manage them so they benefit you, reduce your maintenance work, and help you grow healthier, more fertile soil and plants that are more resistant to diseases and pests. And all of this with less work and without the need for spraying or pesticides. So, I'm Omer Calderon, a landscape designer, and I've been designing and building gardens for over 20 years. Today, I want to share with you how I use wild weeds in my garden to my advantage instead of fighting them. Have you noticed that in nature, there's no such thing as bare soil? It always grows some kind of vegetation to cover it. And if, say, a tractor passes by and exposes a patch of earth, as soon as there's a drop of water from rain or irrigation, weeds will immediately grow and cover the ground. Why does this happen? Because this is the soil's way of healing itself. It's the ecosystem's way of correcting itself from mistakes. And bare soil, as far as nature's concerned, is a mistake. It's not a desirable state. So what does that say about us and about the almost obsessive need some gardeners have to keep the soil bare, with no weeds, no fallen leaves, just a perfectly clean garden? So what's the problem with leaving the soil clean of weeds and exposed to the sun and rain? Well, what it does is cause a process called desertification, where fertile soil becomes poor and desert-like. And how does it happen? Especially in hot countries like ours, where summers are extremely hot, the sun simply fries the soil, dries it out quickly, and brings it to temperatures where bacteria, fungi, and all the microorganisms struggle to survive. And they play a very, very important part in this soil system. Then we get soil that is poor, depleted, and easily eroded. Now, wild weeds growing in our gardens or in nature, their roots hold the soil. And as soon as we shave the weeds down to the ground, you know how a gardener comes and shaves the weeds to the floor, and, or even worse, sprays them and kills them completely. Then there's no protection above the soil, and there are no roots holding the soil together from within. As soon as it rains, all our soil is simply washed away with the rains and leaves our yard. Then we lose the top layer, which is the most fertile layer, where all the organic matter is. It all gets washed away, and we're left with either sand or rock, some medium that isn't fertile and isn't good for growing plants. And this decrease in the amount of organic matter in the soil and in the amount of microbiology also leads to soil that's thinner and less rich in nutrients, and also to a decrease in the plant's resistance in defending against diseases. Plus, the wild plants in our garden provide habitat for beneficial insects and other natural predators that help keep aphids and mites under control. Why does this happen? Because local natural predators evolved alongside local wild plant species in our environment over thousands of years. And now, when we leave these plants in the yard, they attract natural predators, helping us protect against aphids and various pests naturally, without pesticides. Another point, when we leave the soil bare, whether with a weed whacker or by spraying and killing all the wild plants, we create the perfect conditions for more aggressive weeds to move in and take over, instead of plants like these growing right here beside me. Plants like the sticky fleabane or the field mesquite, that's how they invade our garden and take it over, and those will be much harder for us to get rid of. Let's summarize what we've learned so far. Vegetation-covered soil is healthier soil. It improves plant resistance to pests and diseases, encourages microbiology and the symbiotic system of bacteria, fungi, and plants, helping us nourish plants more easily. Ultimately, it requires less maintenance and fewer toxic pesticides. Besides that, the wild plants that sprout in our gardens have another useful advantage. They can tell us a lot about what's happening in our soil. Based on the type of plants taken over the garden, we can understand if we have an excess or deficiency of a certain mineral, or if the soil is too compacted or poorly drained, all based on the type of vegetation growing. If a plant grows that we know prefers very wet, dense, and swampy soil, then we understand there's a drainage problem. Now, let me show you an area that's been taken over by common mallow. I know common mallow is a nitrogen-loving plant, so the fact that it spreads so quickly and so easily tells me there's an excess of nitrogen in the soil, and I also know exactly why that happened. Look, I'll show you. In this area here in the garden, there was a pile of yard waste that for a long time, I think 7 or 8 years, I kept pushing trimmings I cut on the farm. Trees, shrubs, weeds, everything I had. I piled it up here. It sat here for many years, and 3 months ago, I came with the tractor and moved the whole pile. I moved it over here to the side. Now, what do you see? What I moved was all the dry material. Dry material is basically carbon, so I moved all the carbon and placed it here, and what remained in the soil is everything that decomposed quickly. The carbon didn't have time to decompose, but all the nitrogen, the green leaves, the stems, plant parts containing high nitrogen concentrations, they decomposed and entered the soil, and that's why such a beautiful cluster of mallows. And the beautiful thing is that wild plants don't just give us an indication, but they themselves are the cure for the problem. They're fixing the problem. This is how nature solves the imbalance. It grows mallows here, which are nitrogen-loving plants. They consume the nitrogen from the soil, photosynthesize, and through photosynthesis, they take carbon from the air and turn it into a stem, turn it into a leaf. And when they dry up, they'll decompose back into the ground and put the carbon they took from the air into the soil, and so slowly over the years, they'll restore the carbon-nitrogen ratio to balance. So what this tells me is that if I want to plant trees here now, I need to add dry matter here. I need to add carbon to the soil. I need to add balanced compost here. I know that I have an excess of nitrogen. By the way, some plants are really sensitive to nitrogen excess. It causes them damage. So the fact that the mallow is starting to grow here is a great process for me. And then I have to make a decision whether I want to let it continue doing this for another year. And then I'll leave its fruit and let it ripen the seeds so they'll fall here and grow next year. Or if I want to finish with the mallow stage and move to lower vegetation, then I'll cut it before it ripens seeds. Okay, so I came over to an area in the yard where I knew there was amaranth and goosefoot that I wanted to use for a demonstration of plants that give us an indication that the soil is too compacted. And besides an indication, they also start to solve the problem by penetrating a deep root into the ground. And their root starts to break down and crumble the hard soil layers. And then when the plants die, it decomposes and leaves us with capillaries of air in the soil so oxygen can enter, water can penetrate, and it softens the ground for us. But I couldn't find them because it's winter now, and all the winter weeds are covering them up. But I found examples of other cool plants, wild plants, that should be integrated into every garden. Poppies. No need to explain why we want poppies in our garden. Look at this beautiful bloom. They also attract pollinators. Behind them, we have wild radish. The radish also has a deep root, and it also helps improve the soil texture. Another great thing about it is that it belongs to the mustard family. Plants in this family help naturally suppress soil-borne diseases by releasing compounds that kill harmful pathogens in the soil. In other words, they help naturally disinfect the soil and keep the garden healthier. Okay, so after we've understood that we're interested in integrating wild plants into our garden, the question arises, how will we add them to the garden? How will we manage them in such a way that they work for us and don't create more work for us? And to know how to integrate wild plants into the garden, we have 3 principles. The first principle says to learn to live with whoever possible. That is, if the plant in the place where it grew doesn't bother us, we don't mess with it. The second principle says to prefer prevention over treatment. If we can mulch around our herbs and vegetables with wood chips, we can prevent unwanted wild plants from growing there in the first place. It's always better to prevent the problem than to pull them out later. And the third principle is that when we actually do need to take action, we prefer agro-technical methods over chemical spraying. In other words, we'd rather harvest, cut back, mow, or pull them out than spray them with chemicals. So why exactly do we want to avoid using chemical herbicides in the garden? Because when we spray chemical herbicides, we're actually hurting ourselves in 3 different ways. First, we're hurting the person. The person spraying the herbicides is exposed to them, and they're not healthy substances. That's why we use protective gear like masks, goggles, and coveralls. We also harm people who enter the garden after spraying. For a day or two after spraying, it's not good to enter a treated garden. The spray sticks to your shoes and your pants. Kids walk around, pick plants, put them in their mouths, and get exposed to toxic, unhealthy chemicals, some of which are carcinogenic. No, it's not ideal. So first, it harms people, and second, it harms the soil. These pesticides aren't friendly to the soil's microbiology, and they actually lead to a decrease in biodiversity, which isn't good for us. And third, we're simply harming the environment. Some of the chemicals we spray remain in the soil, get washed away by the rain, pollute water sources, and eventually seep into the groundwater we rely on for drinking water. That's why we should reduce our use of these chemicals. Now, I'm not an extremist. I never say never. There are cases, which I'll mention later, where I do use spot spraying to kill an invasive, problematic plant that's reducing biodiversity in my garden, and I have no other way to get rid of it except with chemical control. So in an extreme case like that, I'll use spot spraying according to the label, safety instructions, and manufacturer's guidelines, but I will use it. I mean, I'm not an extremist, but I'd say that's maybe 1% of the time. 99% of the time, there's no reason to involve chemicals in our garden. Okay, so how do we actually manage the weeds? How do we decide which weeds to eliminate and which ones to keep in our garden? So the decision is made based on a combination of two factors: the area of the garden and how we use it, and the type of plant. What do I mean? In flower beds, we want more control over what sprouts there, because we're trying to grow very specific and delicate plants. Flower beds, vegetable beds, herbs. We're trying to grow very specific things in these beds, so we don't want daisies or mallows sprouting there, covering them up and taking over the bed. So it's legitimate that in those areas we'd want to prevent wild plants from sprouting altogether. We'll spread wood mulch or uproot whatever sprouts. And as I've already mentioned, the best treatment is prevention. So we'll simply use ground cover, wood mulch, or some kind of plant pruning mulch. Now, in open areas of the garden, or under fruit trees in an orchard, or in very large gardens, we won't want to bring in entire truckloads of wood chips to cover the garden. So what we're going to do is let local vegetation, relatively low-growing local wild weeds, take over the ground for us, creating a living, green, and blooming plant cover in the spring. In the winter, we can mow it like a lawn and enjoy all the benefits we talked about with wild plants, which improve the soil structure, bring us natural predators, and help plants deal with pests and diseases. We'll enjoy all these things without working, because once low plants take over, they prevent more problematic plants from sprouting. You can see that groundsel is taken over here, and in this area of the garden, dove's foot cranesbill is taken over. And what that means is that we hardly have to deal with weeding there at all. Maybe mowing once in the winter. I mow above the height of the weeds I want to preserve so as not to remove their seeds, and I remove other plants like mallows and daisies, plants that can reach a height of 2 meters. I mow those before they produce seeds so they don't spread themselves in the garden. But why? Because I can't leave 2-meter high mallows under the fruit trees. In the summer they'll dry out, I have a fire hazard, snakes. But cranesbill at a height of 10 centimeters, I have no problem with it drying out on the ground. It doesn't bother me. And I also have no problem mowing it after it's produced its seeds. I run through with the mower one day, 1 hour of work, mow the whole property. It's no problem. Look at what a beautiful carpet has covered the ground here, just like natural lawn. Okay, so up until now, we've talked about how we make a decision on which weed to preserve and which weed to eliminate from our garden based on the parameter of the garden area. We distinguish between areas that are under intensive gardening, like our urban flower beds, and areas in the garden that are under extensive gardening, meaning lower maintenance, like under the orchard trees or open areas in very large gardens. There, we won't want to work so intensively with every single plant. Now, I want to talk a bit about how we make a decision on who to eliminate and who to preserve based on the type of plant. No matter which area of the garden, there are plants that we just know we don't want invading our garden. Although we say all the time that we want to increase biodiversity as much as possible, to have as wide a variety of wild plants as possible, because then we'll also have as wide a variety of natural predators as possible, for which these plants are the hosts, and this creates a more balanced and stable system. But there are cases of specific plants that we'd prefer simply not be part of our ecosystem, and this could be, for example, very thorny plants that are just unpleasant to deal with, or, more commonly, in my opinion, plants that are simply too aggressive, because they are invasive weeds that were brought from different places in the world by humans, and because they have no natural competition here, they take over very wide areas of our nature and push out local wild species, essentially causing a decrease in biodiversity, so they're not good for us. We'd prefer to get rid of these plants and as quickly as possible. For example, the Bermuda buttercup. I'll find one soon and explain. Or for instance, the Syrian mesquite, which isn't invasive, but it's a very problematic plant for gardening. It's thorny, unpleasant to handle, and we'd rather not have it in our garden. So for each and every plant, we have to make a very specific decision. Will it stay in the garden, or will it be removed? And if it's removed, we need to know the best way to remove it, because we don't treat all plants the same way. For example, with annual weeds, we won't pull them out by the root. Ask why? Because we've already discussed how the roots benefit us. They hold the soil in place to prevent erosion, and later they rot and aerate the ground. So we want the roots to stay in the soil, even if we're removing the top of the weed. An annual weed likely won't grow back from the root. The root will just rot in the ground, which is good for us. So, for instance, I have an example here of annual grassy weeds, and let's say I want to remove them from the garden. Even though they don't bother me specifically, if I want to remove them, I'll just cut the tops and leave the roots to rot in the soil. Also, notice that if I pull out the root, I'm actually damaging the soil. I'm pulling out entire clumps of dirt, and that's not a good thing. It's better to just cut the top. Okay, so here I have an example of an annual plant, but one with very annoying thorns, called devil's thorn. In its case, I'll even pull out the root, because it has a deep taproot, like a carrot, that it could grow back from. I prefer to remove the root too, just to be safe, and that's something that's almost impossible to do when the ground is dry. So I'm taking advantage of the fact that the ground is still wet from the rain, and I'm pulling it out with its root. See, I pulled it out with the root, and I'm just leaving it here to dry out. And that's how we decide for each plant, stay or go, and if it goes, how it goes. And now we've come to an area of the garden where Bermuda buttercup has invaded and is starting to take over. Now, you might say, okay, but why do I care if Bermuda buttercup takes over my garden? It's a pretty plant. It's dense, a low green carpet that prevents other weeds from sprouting, which might be taller and more problematic. It has a beautiful bright yellow flower, and kids love to suck on the sour stems. So why should it bother me that Bermuda buttercup has entered the garden? Here's the thing. In my region, Bermuda buttercup is an invasive, highly aggressive plant. If I don't deal with it, it will take over the entire yard. I can show you footage of a grove just beyond my yard where it's covered whole acres. What it does is push out all the local species of wild plants. And we've already talked about how important it is to increase diversity, to have a balanced, stable system with natural predators, and that whole conversation we've already had. So we've come to a place where we have an invasive plant that humans introduced, and it escaped from nurseries and started taking over all of nature, and it's causing us damage. And you can't get rid of it because even if you try to pull it out by hand, it has a separation tissue where the stem breaks and the roots stay in the ground with many tiny bulbs, and it regrows from these bulbs later on. Let's see if I can find a bulb for you to see. In the soil, there are millions of these tiny bulbs that later sprout again, and all sorts of burrowing animals take them and spread them to other areas in your garden. And the Bermuda buttercup sprouts like crazy all over the garden and slowly takes it over within 3 or 4 years. If you don't treat it, it'll just destroy whole acres. And with everything we said about the reduction of diversity and all the problems that come with that, that's why I don't want it in my garden. I want to prevent it from spreading. I can't treat it agrotechnically. Pulling it out doesn't help. I could maybe dig up all the soil to a depth of 1/2 meter and replace it, but that's a bit excessive. And so the only way left for me to eradicate it from the yard is with chemical control. And notice, I promised you a video explaining how to treat weeds without spraying, and we're really about 15 minutes into an explanatory video on how to work without sprays, and only now have we reached the single, specific, localized case where we'll introduce chemical control, because we have no better way to preserve the biodiversity in our garden, and the Bermuda buttercup here reduces diversity, so we'd prefer to get rid of it so it doesn't ruin the ecosystem. And since we don't have an agro-technical solution, we'll turn in this case to localized chemical control. And we've reached the single case, the single 1% out of 100% where we'd prefer to use chemical control, because we don't have a better solution, and we'll spray specifically only on the Bermuda buttercup. We won't spray anything else, only on the Bermuda buttercup. And notice that after you've sprayed it, glyphosate is used, by the way. This is the most effective way to get rid of it because it's a systemic substance that penetrates through the leaves and goes down to the bulbs. Notice that after you've sprayed it, its leaves will dry up and remain dead on the ground. Be careful not to till them into the soil because there's simply still active substance left in them, and this substance will touch the roots of the trees and can, because it's systemic, enter through the roots, go up to the canopy, and cause damage to the plants that you are interested in cultivating. So the withered foliage of the plant that you sprayed, collect it and remove it from the garden. Also, don't put it in the compost. So that's regarding the exceptional case where we do involve chemical control. For 99% of weeds, there's no reason for us to control them chemically. And for 80% of weeds, there's no reason to control them at all in most of our yard. So, I've been Omar Calderon. I hope I've helped you a bit to understand how to manage the weeds in your garden in a smart way and in a sustainable way, and without sprays. If you liked it, if I helped you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.